Good evening, everyone. Good evening. All right. Welcome to the People's Security Bank Theater at Lackawanna College. My name is Jim Cullen. I'm the director. Thank you for coming to tonight's graduation ceremony, Scranton Class 242, Honor, Integrity, and Courage. Before I begin, I ask if you have a cell phone or anything that has the potential to make sound, if you would please silence it for us, as I just did. That helps me remember. Thank you for abiding by our no food or drink policy here in the theater. There's no restrictions on photography. We just ask that you do it politely and not disturb anybody's ability to enjoy the ceremony. And over there to my left, we have our consummate photographers, Chris and Heather. Please give yourselves a moment to make yourselves aware of the theater exits nearest you. And now, once again, it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce the director of the Lackawanna College Police Academy, John Chilleri.
Welcome. Finally, it's here for family members and cadets. I'd like to welcome all the family and friends and supporters for coming here tonight. Without you, many of these cadets wouldn't be here tonight, without your support. You supported your cadet throughout this academy experience. This night is to recognize them and you for all of your support. I thank you for coming out and hope you enjoy this special night. The Academy wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the great people that keep it together. And at this time, I'd like to introduce some of these great people. They really hate when I do this. All right. First off, I want to introduce our staff. Behind me is my assistant director, Robert Jolly, retired chief of the Dallas Township Police Department. My operations coordinator, Willard Oliphant, retired captain of the Pennsylvania State Police. And the people who keep this place together for me, the Academy Administrative Assistants, Diane Carey. I know they're out here someplace. They like to hide. Where are they at? Lynn Mellon and Denise Boyle. I started as the director in February of this year. And I've been blessed with a team of dedicated individuals that do an incredible amount of work behind the scenes. They get very little credit for what they do, but the cadets recognize they are the ones, the go-to people in our academy. They get the cadets from the first call that they receive from a cadet asking information about the academy, all the way through the application process, up to tonight, the graduation. They're the ones who keep it all together. Cannot do it without them. I like to say they're my second family. I spend more time here than probably at home, and that's okay, because the mission is so important. Our instructors, we have a cadre of the absolutely the best instructors in the Commonwealth, representing federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. These individuals share their experience and knowledge to develop the best law enforcement officers and future law enforcement leaders. When I took this position as director, I had a few things in mind. I've been a police officer for about 21 years, been in public service, first responder service, since I was about 15 years old. And one of the goals I had with this academy was to assemble a group of people that would pass on the knowledge to the future, because we're developing the future leaders of law enforcement. Behind me is our honored guest, and I'd like to introduce the people that are so important to what we do. It's Renee Mundy, Associate Vice President for Human Resources. Dominic DeNaples, a longtime supporter. He's not on stage yet. He's going to be part of our stage party. I'd like to say one of the Police Academy's biggest cheerleaders, and also a member of the Lackawanna College Board of Trustees. Chief Robert Jolly, who I introduced earlier, retired Chief, Dallas Township PD, and he just recently started as our Associate Director, or Assistant Director. Our guest speaker this evening wears many hats. He's a longtime friend of mine, and he is the Lackawanna County Coroner, Tim Rollins. Monsignor Thomas Madown, Pennsylvania State Police Chaplain, who will be doing the invocation tonight. Also joining us tonight on stage is retired Scranton Police Sergeant Mike Camerata. He is the treasurer of the Never Forgotten motorcycle ride that you'll hear a lot about later on. And Scranton Police Patrol Officer Ethan Golden, director of the Never Forgotten motorcycle ride. You may notice some individuals walking around taking pictures. We have with us tonight Chris Hughes, our Lackawanna College photographer. He'll be taking photos of the graduation ceremony. And these photos will be available and be provided to the cadets to memorialize the event. Tonight's ceremony is also being recorded, and each cadet will receive a copy of the DVD as a gift from the Academy. Don't be surprised if you see the cadets, your graduation, on ECTV. Oftentimes they will play our graduations. So here we go with our ceremony. Tonight we have representatives from the current cadet classes 241, 243, 244. They're here tonight to show support for their fellow cadets and the graduates. They will now enter and take their place. Please join me in welcoming the graduates, class 242, as they enter the theater. I ask that all of our guests please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance that will be led by Class Captain Lindsay Zarek and the invocation by Pennsylvania State Police Chaplain Monsignor Thomas M. Madown. As we welcome Lackawanna College full-time class 242, led by Jim Sweeney on bagpipes.
Dr. Albert Schweitzer, a great humanitarian, missionary, and medical doctor, once said, I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I do know, the only ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, today we have come together to recognize and congratulate the members of the Lackawanna College Police Academy who will serve our Commonwealth with honor and integrity. As we congratulate them on this achievement, we offer our gratitude and support as they begin a life of service. May these remarkable individuals who will provide selfless acts of bravery and service to the citizens of this great Commonwealth be protected by your gracious will. May they be ambassadors of peace, justice, and equality. May they have a positive impact on our communities and make them safe. May they always have the strength of perseverance. Give them the blessings of your wisdom to know and to do what is right. Temper their actions with mercy and justice. Fill them with courage to face the challenges and endure the dangers associated with carrying out their duties. Finally, Heavenly Father, give them your blessings and provide them with your protection as they assume their roles as law enforcement officers. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Take your seats. The cadets will now undergo their final inspection as a class. This academy is a paramilitary organization, just as police departments are. We require uniforms, conduct inspections, perform drill and ceremony, and we have a command structure. Tonight, the cadets are wearing their Class A uniforms for their graduations. We invite our cadets who've been hired by or sponsored by a law enforcement agency prior to this graduation to wear their uniforms of their department. Tonight, we have 4 cadets who are already employed by a law enforcement agency. They are Michael Dennis, Wilkes-Barre City; Cadet Davis, Wilkes-Barre City; Cadet Young, Athens Township Police Department; and Cadet Pasanchin, Exeter Township Police Department. The final inspection will be conducted by a member of the Lackawanna College Board of Trustees, Dominic DeNaples. Mr. DeNaples is a veteran of the United States Army, a member of the Lackawanna College Board of Trustees. He will be assisted by Patrol Canine Officer Joe Honza of Wilkes-Barre Police Department, who is also a Marine Corps veteran. Gentlemen.
Director Caleri, I now return to you, Class 242. This class is well and duly prepared.
Thank you, Mr. DeNaples. Officer Honza, please take command of Class 242. Thank you. How about a round of applause for our cadets from Class 242? This academy would not exist if it wasn't for the support of Lackawanna College. Academy has been here approximately 42 years, turning out law enforcement officers. We're going to hear from one of the Board of Trustee members, Mr. Dominic DeNaples. As you heard me say earlier, he's one of our biggest cheerleaders. Always has words of encouragement to keep going further. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. DeNaples. He has a few words for the cadets that I think will be pretty meaningful to them.
Thank you, John. Welcome. Thank you for your attendance. This gathering here tonight for this purpose again demonstrates Lackawanna College's continued commitment and contribution to higher learning, culture, and getting people job ready here in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Lackawanna College is not new in this teaching business. Lackawanna College has been educating and conferring degrees for a period spanning 3 centuries. We began way back in the 1800s, all through the 1900s, and well into the 2000s, and tonight, honor, distinction, and pride have come to visit us one more time. Tonight, the honor and the distinction rest with this Class 242, this 21 cadets. The pride, as always, will remain here in the Academy, and more especially with all of you, the families of the graduates. More especially because you are the people who helped with the transportation, the tuition, the babysitting, and so forth. You are also the people who gave them the encouragement and that little extra push to carry and continue on here when the road may have gotten a little bit bumpy. And folks, yes, the road is rather bumpy. The hill is steep and curvy. The way is very challenging and somewhat difficult. However, those cadets know that this is the small price that must be paid and the sacrifice that must be made in exchange for this, the bigger privilege and opportunity to be here tonight. Let's talk a little bit about being here tonight. Those cadets are not here tonight solely because of their choice. The screening process, the vetting process, and all that is necessary prior to enrollment here is well above and beyond what the average citizen can imagine. Many apply, few are selected. Class, this certification, the diploma you receive tonight, does not come alone. It takes with it certain additional responsibilities on your part. All of a sudden, you're going to be looked at as somewhat of a role model. You're going to be looked up to by your friends, your neighbors, your family. and more especially the youth and the children you come in contact with. The bar is now lifted on your personal behavior, and you must conduct yourselves accordingly. Class, you are well trained, you are well prepared, and you're scrubbed up nice and clean and sharpened up and smartened up, and you look pretty darn good tonight. What do you think? They look pretty good? I think they look great. However, the one remaining unanswered question is, how will they serve? How will they protect the dignity and the integrity of the badge of a police officer? How will they keep it clean, pristine, and free from tarnish and blemish? How will they serve? Class, how will you serve? I have that answer. Tonight, during the final inspection, I walk through the ranks, I visit each and every one of them. And doing so, I look into the eyes and the faces of each and every one. What am I looking at? What do I see? I do not see doubt, confusion, uncertainties. I see hope, promise, confidence. I see that eagerness and willingness to learn, to discover, and to go forward in life. And life, as we all know, is one constant and continuous learning experience. A young mind, enriched, enlarged, expanded, with all of the values and the virtues that this certification brings, can never and will never shrink or return to its former size, because skills, talent, knowledge is absolutely no burden to carry. When we separate and leave here tonight, some of you have jobs to go to, others will be seeking employment. You need to be the very, very best at whatever you endeavor into. Set your sights high. Point your arrows upwards, skywards, and do not be afraid to take that chance, for the biggest loss will be taking no chance. Learn to apply the extra effort. Why extra effort? Because the ordinary effort does not always work. What is extra effort? Extra effort lies within. It's in your gut, in your mind, and in your backbone. It's that eagerness and willingness to learn, to discover, and go forward, and that absolute refusal to quit or to give up. Class, all good things begin with a vision. Each and every one of you have some kind of a vision. Each and every one of you are loaded with incredible potential. What you need to do is reach inside of yourselves, get a hold of it, shake it loose, and put it to work. The human body and the human mind will perform far, far beyond your expectations, but only if you challenge them. Do not underestimate yourselves. You can do it. Let's look at reality. Out in that real world today, it's the person who applies himself, the one who digs in, perseveres, and lasts the very longest, is not always the brightest bulb that survives and becomes successful. You can do it. Today, you will add to yourselves a new dimension of character. You will add to yourselves a mark of distinction that will remain with you. And the certification you receive today takes with it the foundation, the building blocks, and all of the tools necessary to climb that ladder of success. And today, here at this level, you will graduate from the absolute finest and most challenging police academy in this Commonwealth, as it now becomes your turn to maintain, add to, and build on that long legacy and that fine reputation that law enforcement has enjoyed throughout the years. This great reputation is a result of those who served before you, people like some of your presenters here tonight, all of your instructors. There are several here. They gather in this area. And note in your program, all of the instructors are listed by name. And further note that they come from all avenues and all aspects of law enforcement. And each and every one of them are experts and specialists in their own little areas, focused areas of expertise. And they're here for a few reasons. First, they're here for the love and the respect they have of law enforcement. They're also here because they know that everything necessary to become a good police officer cannot be found online or in the textbook. They're here because they want to pass on to you, teach you, impart on all that they have learned, accomplished, and experienced throughout their careers. And for that, let us give them their well-earned and deserved recognition, instructors. Okay, class, you're certified, you're going to work. You get up in the morning, you don the uniform of the day. This policeman's badge, the certification, is going to bring you to a lot of nice places. Something like here tonight. Look around. We have a beautiful auditorium, all gold leaf paint that I could talk about, but I won't. Okay? Music, bagpipes, the band is playing, people shaking your hand, taking your pictures, clapping for you. This certification is going to take you to a lot of nice places like this. This certification is also going to take you to every rat hole, every hell hole, and the most tearful and ugly places you can imagine. So get ready. I have one strong message for you. On the end of the shift, do not take the job home with you. Do not share with your spouses and your families your stressful days and days of happening. You gotta, I'll use a lay term, you gotta wear two faces. You gotta be like a Frankenstein. You've gotta leave the job where the job is. When you go home, you wear the other face. Some of you veteran police officers understand what I'm saying, and you could probably say it a whole lot better because you know what I'm talking about. I have a final message for you, class. You are now a product of Lackawanna College's Police Academy, and you will always wear our label. Lackawanna College Police Academy will be somewhat graded and measured by your success and your performance. And going forward in life, you need to position yourself and posture yourselves so that we here at Lackawanna can always be as proud of you as we are today. Congratulations. May God bless you. May God bless and guide our United States of America. And may He watch over you throughout your entire career. Thank you.
Thank you for those fine words, Mr. DeNaples. We're going to now introduce the Class 242's chain of command. The chain of command is selected by the Academy Director with the input from the instructors and staff. The first few weeks, we don't have a chain of command. We wait until the whole class till we start to see the class starting to function as a unit. Then we know they're ready. This is part of the cadets' training, to introduce them to the organizational structure of a police department, the chain of command with an emphasis on communication, organization, and discipline. It's not easy to follow orders all the time. Sometimes you don't like them. Sometimes you disagree with what you need to do. But I can attest a chain of command in place for this class. I've been here since 1991 as an instructor, and I can say that they have been one of the best chain of commands I've ever had to work with. They made my job a whole lot easier. I had sent them an email earlier today thanking the entire class. As a new director, they effortlessly and I don't mean that simply went through, but without much problem. Their maturity level increased substantially, and that's all due to the chain of command. The chain of command for Class 242. Please stand when I call your name. Captain Zarek, Lieutenant Dennis, Sergeant Giovassi, Sergeant Libby, Sergeant Davis, Sergeant Cirilla, incredible group of leaders. The very first day of class, I asked the class, how many of you think you are a leader? And very few hands went up. If I ask that question right now, how many of you think you are a leader? Show of hands. You should always know the answer before you ask the question, I think. They did great. They're all leaders in their own right, because that's what the public needs, and that's what the public wants. They want our law enforcement to be leaders. In time of disaster, in time of crisis, they look to law enforcement to lead them out of that danger. We're going to hear from the captain of the class. Captain Zarek, I mentioned to her today that she had made my life a whole lot easier. She did such a fine job, and her chain of command did such a great job with this class. Captain Zarek is a graduate of Keystone College with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and from Marywood University, a master's degree in public justice administration. Captain Zarek did an incredible job of organizing and leading her class. Captain Zarek.
Director Tulare, Chief Jolly, Mr. Oliphant, administration, instructors, fellow cadets, family and friends. Welcome to the graduation of Class 242, our final step in the manifestation between civilian and law enforcement officers. For some, this is the realization of a childhood dream, while others, Cadet Cianella, have chosen this path a little later in life. But in the end, the outcome is the same. We are all police officers, and together we have joined a brotherhood and sisterhood that will last us a lifetime. A family born not in of blood, but by the badge. I have one last task today, to stand up, say some words, and sit down. Nothing more, nothing less, and I am prepared to do just that. Some of you will listen, some of you will be checking your phone, and others will be wishing they had brought their phones. Cadet Casalia, I'm sure you're wondering how much longer this will last, counting down the hours, minutes, and seconds like you have been since day 2 of the academy. No harm, no foul, I'd probably be doing the same thing. We began our training on March 12th, 2018. Day 1 I remember rather vividly. I remember standing downstairs of the academy, each timidly waiting for our name to be called to climb those 5 dreadful flights of stairs one by one. Having to use our big girl or big boy voices to ask permission to enter the classroom, getting screamed at for everything and anything, and naming pieces of string that were pulled from our uniform and keeping them in our pockets to remind ourselves to always be well put together. We've come a long way since then. We survived 919 hours of classwork, 21 hours of exams, 768 combined hours of community service. Thank you, class, by the way, for never letting volunteer become voluntold. We survived a week of reading the vehicle code verbatim, passed hazardous materials simply by remembering the rule of thumb, endured PowerPoint after PowerPoint after PowerPoint, and for the most part, managed to stay in one piece after 2 weeks on the range, 2 days on the driving course, and countless agonizing days of PT and DT. Even through all of the above, we were able to have a little bit of fun. A trip to see a Phillies game, Police Week in Washington, D.C., watching movies in Lieutenant Dennis's Suburban on lunch breaks, and friendly battles of game pigeon while we waited to take our turns for scenarios. We started with 28 recruits, and after 22 weeks, 21 cadets persevered to become graduates. When we look back, it is hard to believe that the only way we knew each other was to look at a name tag. Now, after spending a total of 1,708 hours together, not only do we know each other's names, but it seems like everyone has a nickname. Right, Tommy Tough Nuts? One of my favorite quotes by Edmund Burke reads, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." Well, we, as 21 graduates here before you, will no longer stand idly by. When we walk out those doors, we begin our voyage as police officers. Remember this, policing is a service profession. It will be our responsibility to protect and to serve. Never take action based on emotion. What we do will have a life consequence to the citizens we encounter every day. Never allow a victim to be victimized a second time due to poor police practices. Once we walk through those doors, we must always be inquisitive, suspicious, and thorough. If not, we are unfit for duty. Each one of our instructors instilled that upon us, which we will carry forever, and for that, we thank you. Cadets of Class 242, today we are joined together in the blood, sweat, and tears that we have dropped together during this journey. For some, we will talk to each other daily. For others, we will be a mere thought or memory when thinking of our academy days. But no matter what, I will never forget any one of you. On March 12, 2018, 28 intimidated, impressionable, and eager cadets walked into the Lackawanna College Police Academy. And today, August 17th, 2018, 21 survivors are walking out educated, trained, and confident. One thing is for sure, the last 1,708 hours are just the beginning. We will be brothers and sisters throughout our entire law enforcement careers. In closing, I turn to Plato, who said it better than I ever could. It does not matter if the cobblers or the masons fail to do their jobs well, but if the guardians fail, the democracy will crumble. Stand proud, guardians, for today we are what we all have dreamed of for so long. We are the police, and our watch begins today. Thank you.
Captain, thank you for that great speech. You did well. Although, there was one part that I can turn over to the assistant director, and I think he'd have you do some push-ups, but we'll just overlook that. I knew all about it. We're going to hear from our guest speaker tonight. It's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Lackawanna County Coroner Tim Rollins. Whenever we have a guest speaker, we ask for a little bio so we have a little background on them. And I decided to take it a different direction. Tim's a longtime friend and one of my mentors in public service. I first met Tim when I was 15 and a half years old. I'm certain that was the age you could become an EMT, or maybe it was 16, but I know I was 15 and a half. I was a student and Tim was one of my instructors. And among the first group of paramedics in northeastern Pennsylvania. He truly was one of the pioneers in pre-hospital care and part of an incredible group of people who helped shape emergency medical services and set an example for young men like myself. He was a role model for many of us to follow. As coroner, Tim and his staff has professionalized the coroner's office. They've opened their doors to law enforcement and to this academy to help us in our educational endeavors. Tim was a 1975 graduate of Abington Heights. He completed his basic EMT in 1973. His paramedic training at Wilkes-Barre General Hospital in 1979. He was hired as the deputy coroner in 2003. Prior to that time, he was employed by Community Medical Center from 1977 to 96 on the Lackawanna County Mobile Intensive Care Unit. And it was truly the region's first paramedic ambulance service. He was the Chief Executive Officer of Community Life Support Ambulance. Currently remains as a Pennsylvania State Certified Paramedic, working for Community Health EMS as a Director of Community and Government Relations. As the Lackawanna County Coroner, he completed the PA Attorney General's mandated course, and he currently serves as a medical legal death investigator by the American Board of Medical Legal Death Investigators. And he currently serves on the Lackawanna County Opioid Coalition. They're such an important group, that coalition, because we have a major crisis in the United States involving opioids. With nothing further, I turn it over to my friend and our Lackawanna County Coroner, Tim Rollins.
Thank you, John. They were very kind words. So I am the coroner for Lackawanna County, and I have the coolest job in law enforcement. No, I'm just kidding. It's the worst job in law enforcement. But even though my career path started out in healthcare, and actually part of it still remains in healthcare, I've been very fortunate my whole life that I've had employment that I've always loved and always wanted to go to work. And like class 242, I was going through their instruction and the instructors that were teaching them this year in their long class. And I noticed that most of those people I work with every day. And they are a very distinguished group of instructors that I'm certain over the past year they have instilled upon this class all the virtues and the necessary skill sets that they need to become great law enforcement officers that they will become as they finish here tonight and they go on to take employment in law enforcement. When I tell you that my job that I currently do, I really like it a lot. It's not that I like dealing with people that die or families that have their whole life ripped out from under them at a moment's notice. I like my job because it gives me the opportunity to work with the best law enforcement personnel in the world, with the Scranton Police, the state police, all the local municipal police departments, which I'm sure most of the class tonight will be taking up employment with. All those people I enjoy working, and they're a wealth of knowledge, as in all the people that taught me coming up through my healthcare career. So while I said I'm very lucky that every step of the way I've enjoyed what I'm doing, I have always been in an opportunity to grasp what was put in front of me and take it and run with it. And I hope that this class, as they go forward, will do the same thing on opportunities that come for them. They will find that they'll be in employment that maybe they don't like, or maybe they don't like the people that lead them. But the opportunity is always there to move on. And I'm sure as most of them will take jobs at municipal level or state level or federal level or international level for if that applies. But they will always take what needs to be done and do their best job. I hope that as they go forward in their careers, that mediocrity is something that they look beyond, that they don't, that they excel at what they do no matter what it is, and always persevere to do the best job that they can. You know, in a society where You know, when I started working in EMS in the 70s, I mean, for God's sakes, we didn't even wear gloves on calls. You know, it was something, it was pre-AIDS and pre-hepatitis and all that. And we did traffic accidents, and we did heart attacks, and we did occasionally somebody that was assaulted or somebody that was inflicted with a gunshot wound. And we saw very few people who took their own life. And we certainly saw very few people who took drugs and died from drug overdoses. We were very fortunate in those days. But I'll use a term from The Lion King, it's in the past. And it is not that way anymore. And this class, unfortunately, while as well trained as they are, and I'm sure they've been instilled with protocols, regulations, things that have to be done in police work, they will be as prepared as they can be, but as they go forward in life, they will find that the society that we live in today is very cruel and very cold and is just beyond understanding why things happen for the way they are. You know, in 2014, you know, we had 40 drug deaths in Lackawanna County. In 2016, it doubled. I mean, so in just that short period of time, it doubled. So we see right now 1, 2, 3 drug deaths a week. We have suicides that are 1 every 6 days or 1 every 7 days. These are something that these young ladies and gentlemen going out and working in law enforcement are going to come across every single day. And they will have to learn to stay above mediocrity and do the best job they can and learn from every single experience. So I will tell you that in my career, there is nothing that anybody could ever tell me or show me that I would not believe. It truly is, and they will find the same thing. There'll be things that they just can't comprehend why they happen. And that is like, you know, cases involving families and children, especially children, and people who live below the margin, who don't have enough to take care of themselves and live the way they do in the situations that they do. They're going to have to deal with that, and I'm sure they will, because if they've chosen this career, that is what they will remember, every incident, and learn from that. I think going forward, one of the things that makes us all better in what we do is you have to, as we get older. Now I turned 62 last week, and my new goal is to make it to 63. So I think I'll be okay. But my goals are short term in that respect. And you know, life changes on a dime. You know, we're here today, we're gone tomorrow, and sometimes there's no reason for that. But we all certainly, as a society, can do the right thing and try not to have these things occur, but unfortunately that's not the way it is. So agility would be the number one item that they need to have. So as things change, you got to be agile. You got to be able to move with them. You don't want to be left in the past. So I ask all of them. I mean, there's three virtues that are on the top of the pamphlet: honor, integrity, and courage. I would ask that all of them, as they go through their career, remember each and every one of you will find out what each and every one of those virtues are, and you'll figure it out yourselves. And I just ask, you know, in a society that we're in now, where a significant part of our population does not like police officers. I mean, that's unheard of, but the reality is, maybe not in Scranton, Pennsylvania, but when you travel out of the area, when you travel to big cities, I mean, police are not liked, unfortunately. That's something maybe this group can have an effect in changing, but you must keep in mind, above all things, that number one, take care of yourself and take care of your fellow officers, and number two, do the right thing, always. No matter what it is, do the right thing and things will be okay. So I extended this class my best wishes for every single one of them. God bless them for what they're going into. I don't want to scare anybody, but I mean, they are well-trained from class, and as they go forward, they'll figure it out. And so with that, I just wish the best upon them and all the future classes that come through here in law enforcement, that they have such a great day like they're having tonight. So good luck to everybody, and thank you everybody for, I was really taken back that I was even asked to speak here tonight, but for what it's worth, that's it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Now comes time for a very special recognition. We have a very special presentation tonight to two friends and supporters of our academy, Eileen and Paul Miller. They are longtime highway safety advocates, and they have made a decision to partner with Lackawanna College Police Academy in honor of their late son, Paul Miller, Jr. They went above and beyond for us. They developed a distracted driver training video for the Lackawanna College Police Academy. This video will become part of our training. It will be incorporated into the Pennsylvania Municipal Police Basic Academy training program. It will teach our cadets and those currently serving in law enforcement about the results and potential aftermath of distracted driving. The goal of this training program is to enhance law enforcement officers' knowledge and understanding and provide them with resources and strategies to effectively enforce the Pennsylvania Vehicle Code related to distracted driving. Which I must say, I've been on the job 21 years, and the law needs a lot of work. And not to get onto a political platform, but I must say that we are asking all of you to lend the support to legislation that's going to be changing. It needs to be changed because the death and destruction on our roadways as a result of distracted driving is just overwhelming. We are grateful to the Millers for providing this resource and this program. They have continued to fight for better highway safety laws since their son, Paul J. Miller, Jr., lost his life in a car crash caused by a distracted driver in 2010. For the past several years, Eileen and Paul, Sr., have supported the Lackawanna College Criminal Justice Major program through the establishment and recent endowment of the Paul J. Miller Memorial Scholarship. And on top of all that, they continuously work to improve highway safety. And they have now partnered with our academy with this program. This program is going to be the change maker. It's going to be the difference maker. When I took this job, many people asked me, why not become a chief of police? There was opportunities. And when I heard that, and I remember telling one individual in particular, I absolutely can be the king, being the chief of police. But by taking the job as the director, I have an opportunity to become the kingmaker. and turn out some of the best law enforcement, and partnering with the Millers. We are going to increase awareness of enforcement of the Pennsylvania Vehicle Code as it relates to distracted driving. At this time, I'd ask Assistant Director Bob Jolly. We have a special presentation for the Millers. So Assistant Director Bob Jolly and retired Captain Will Oliphant. We have a special award for the Millers. We can't thank them enough. And I can say this to you, Paul Jr. will be part of this academy. I know that was a dream. And he most absolutely will be a very important part for a very long time. Thank you very much for all you've done. Now comes a part of the program where we recognize some of the achievements of our cadets. The awards are given to the cadets for a variety of categories. The cadets do not know now, or do not know until this moment, who the recipients are. It's tough to keep this under wraps. The admin assistants, they know. In fact, I don't know until the day of graduation. I don't think they trust me. They think I'll tell somebody. The first award is the Driver's Proficiency Award. It's sponsored by the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association. And I'll be asking Assistant Director Bob Jolly and Captain Oliphant to join me in presenting this award. The Driver's Proficiency Award goes to Cadet Libby. The next award is the Handgun Proficiency Award. This is sponsored by the Northeast PA Chiefs of Police Association. I'll ask Academy Operations Coordinator, Captain Will Oliphant, to join me in presenting the award tonight to Cadet Young. Another example of collaboration between our academy and law enforcement is the next award. It's the Trooper Joshua D. Miller Physical Fitness Award. The recipient is chosen based on a combined score of the 1.5 run and the 300-meter run through the initial, midpoint, and final testing in the physical training area. When you hear the terminology PT, it refers to physical training, and it is grueling. And just like the Handgun Award, there will be a plaque hanging in the academy with the names of each recipient engraved so future cadets can be inspired to follow in the recipient's footsteps. Tonight's award will be presented to, look at them, they're all looking, who gets it? Cadet Brasdionis. I really enjoy torturing them like that. They're all like, well, who is it? Tell us already. Each graduating class selects one member to receive the Spirit of Distinction Award. This award is named for one of our graduates, Officer Danny J.J. Lomax. Officer Lomax was an officer with the Forest City Police Department and Mayfield Police Department. He was a volunteer firefighter with several fire companies in the area. He was killed when he came upon a traffic accident while off duty. He tried to help the driver, stepped on a live wire, and was electrocuted. JJ was my friend. I had the pleasure of knowing him for many years, as have many of our instructors. He embodied service, selflessness, dedication, and commitment to the mission and to service to others. This award will be given to the cadet who the class believes embodied those same qualities that my friend J.J. Lomax had. This award is sponsored by the Northeast PA FOP Lodge 63, where J.J. and I were members. Assistant Chief Lee Rohn has joined me on stage here. Assistant Chief Rowan is the Assistant Chief of the Forest City Police Department. Cadet Class 242 has chosen as their recipient for the award, Cadet Sorella. Highest scholastic. The last award, and I saved it for last for a reason. Director Marianne Grippo, our past director who passed away at a very young age, 51 years old, unexpectedly. She was not only a friend, a mentor, career prosecutor, incredible director. She was someone who always asked for excellence. And it was only fitting that we came up with an award to honor that. The highest scholastic award, this is the highest average of all courses combined. I'm going to ask Academy Operations Coordinator Will Oliphant and Assistant Director Robert Jolly to join me in presenting this award. This award is presented in memory of our past director, Marianne Grippo, and it is presented to Cadet Libby. Now comes the time we've all been waiting for. Me to stop talking. No. Presentation of the certificates. The curriculum has been expanded to 919 hours. It is a grueling curriculum. The dedication of these fine men and women was outstanding. I have as my assistants retired Chief Bob Jolly, Captain Will Alford, retired, who I consider mentors of mine. And we have collectively agreed that we would be not only willing but honored to serve in any one of these cadets. They did an incredible job. How about a round of applause? Approximately 2 graduations ago, we were approached by an organization who some of my friends belong to, and they're friends of this academy. As we present our certificates to the graduates, I'm going to ask Scranton Police Department retired Sergeant Mike Camerata and Patrol Officer Ethan Golden to join us on stage as we present Never Forgotten Ride recognition to each cadet. This is a new addition to our academy. A short time ago, we formed a partnership with the Never Forgotten Ride. This organization's mission is dedicated to the welfare of our officers and first responders and keeping the memory of all of our fallen first responders alive. They have decided to be there for our first responders and for our police officer at this academy. They are donating a $50 gift certificate to each graduate class member for the purchase of police equipment that they will need as we begin our careers. And again, that's what this is about, collaborating to make the best officer that is out there. The cadets are given the option of having someone close to them or someone in law enforcement to present their certificate. Some have chosen to have a person join them on stage as they receive their certificate. Assisting me in presenting the certificates will be Assistant Director Robert Jolly and Academy Operations Coordinator Will Oliphant. The first certificate Let me just step over to the side. As the cadets come across for their certificate, they will also receive their gift certificate from the Never Forgotten Ride. The first cadet to receive her certificate is Cadet Scaffler. Certificate will be presented also by Larksville Police Department Patrolman Andrew Labar. Second cadet is Cadet Buselli, presented by his uncle Tom Richardson, Dunmore Police Department, and instructor at our academy. Captain Zarek, certificate presented by Wilkes-Barre City K-9 Patrol Officer Joseph Holmes. Cadet Finn, boy, this Dunmore Patrolman Tom Richardson's a popular guy. Cadet Finn, certificate presented by Dunmore Patrolman, and again, our instructor, Tom Richardson. hers next? You have her? It's the order they gave me. Yeah, you have her in top. Cadet Pazik. Cadet Cirillo. Cadet Libby, presented by her grandfather, honorably discharged Sergeant of the United States Army, Clinton James Smith. Cadet Brazionis, presented by his brother George, Salina Police Department Patrolman, Kansas City. Wow. Thank you for traveling, sir. You're awesome, right? Pleasure. Did you encounter any delays at the airport?
No, sir.
Just curious. Cadet Gervasi, presented by United States Army National Guard Infantry Captain Brown. Gervasi. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. So they get close. Cadet Cianella, presented by his wife, Mrs. Cianella, with child on the way. Please be careful. That was great. Cadet Davis, presented by his father, retired State Trooper Corporal Michael Davis. Thank you, sir. If you don't take those gift certificates, we will. Cadet Pasanchin. Cadet Reinert, presented by his brother Daniel, who is a special agent with the United States Diplomatic Security Service. You might need them. Thank you. Next cadet, Cadet Tragar. Yep. I fall off the stage with these glasses. Cadet Dennis, presented by Wilkes-Barre City Detective Tom Harding. Cadet Polonis. Cadet Casalia, presented by Duryea Patrolman and Lackawanna County Deputy Sheriff Brian Colze. They had it spelled wrong on here, Brian. Cadet Young, presented by Roger Klink, Chief of the Athens Township Police Department. Cadet Price, presented by his grandfather, Petty Officer Second Class, United States Navy, Marcus Dodge. Hey, don't forget the picture. Cadet D'Ambrosio. And last, Cadet Strasky. How about a round of applause for that great group of men and women? The next part of our ceremony is the fallen officer tribute. Each class is instructed to choose a fallen officer to whom they dedicate their training and graduation. This tradition underscores for the cadet the serious nature of the job and how important it is to perform their duties with honor, not only for themselves and those they serve, but in order to do justice to the men and women and canines who lay down their lives in this profession. Each class, upon graduation, then becomes referred to as the name of their fallen officer. Class 242 has chosen Pennsylvania State Trooper Michael Paul Stewart. Michael Stewart was killed in a vehicle crash on Route 711 at the Route 271 split in Westmoreland County at approximately 2:20 a.m. His end of watch was July 14, 2017. His patrol SUV was traveling southbound when a garbage truck attempted to turn left onto the roadway, in front of it causing a collision. Trooper Stewart suffered a fatal injury in the crash, and his partner suffered minor injury. We have a plaque that was prepared in honor of PA State Trooper Stewart, along with our Academy patch. Inscribed on this plaque are the names of each member of Class 242. We are presenting this plaque tonight to Pennsylvania State Trooper Stephen Leman. He currently earned the position of a Public Information Officer for Troop A Greensburg. Sir, if you'd come forward. The purpose of this, selecting a fallen officer, is again for them, the cadets, to understand that those before them who have served and have fallen, and how important it is to honor them and serve in this profession honorably. You may have noticed that my assistant director and the Academy Operations Coordinator were handing out something as we were doing that presentation. That's another tradition we have. It's the challenge coin. It's a tradition of Lackawanna College Police Academy to present each cadet with a challenge coin, depicting the Academy logo and mission, honor, integrity, and courage. And it includes the Pennsylvania State Police patch and the name of the fallen officer and his end of watch. As the cadets received this coin from my two assistants, it's important for them to remember the significance of this night. It's not only to honor them, but it is also to honor their fallen officer. These coins are carried by military units, law enforcement, and it identifies the holder as a member of a particular unit with a well-defined history and mission. Another part of this fallen officer selection is that we want it to be honored and remembered forever. As we close tonight, we will have Lieutenant Thomas from Class 243. Please step up on stage. She will join us on stage next to the Academy flag that stands in each of our campuses in Scranton and Hazleton. The outgoing class captain will be presented with a banner that bears Trooper Stewart's name and our Academy patch and the class number. The outgoing captain will tie the banner on the Police Academy flag. The flag is adorned with streamers bearing the names of the fallen officers who have been honored by our classes since the inception of this program. The flag will then stand at each of our academies as a reminder to each current and incoming cadet of those who have gone before them in this profession, so that they can respect the importance and magnitude of the commitment they are making. Assistant Director Jolly will present the banner as the bagpiper Sweeney will then join us in honoring the fallen officer and all fallen officers. Officer Hunza. Thank you. Cadet 240, Class 242, you made it. You now join a legacy of officers that over the last 42 years of this police academy have graduated and moved on into become chiefs of police, police supervisors, federal, local, and state officers. Many of them have come back to join us as instructors. I leave with you a few words. Throughout this academy, we have talked about the necessity of honor, integrity, and courage. It is needed now more than ever in our profession. You need to set the example. I asked earlier how many of you felt you were leaders. All of you are leaders. If you recall, one of the first things I told you, you needed to be a leader of one. Because if you're a leader of one, you could be a leader of many. But if you can't lead one, you can't lead any. I live by those words. They were passed on to me. I tell you that it is so important that we put mission and service before self. One of the first questions I ask when an applicant is, why are you here? And I have sent many away when they tell me I am here for myself, for self-improvement. That doesn't make a good officer. That makes someone who is here for themselves. You've made a commitment to stand in the gap between us and those who seek to do us harm. We've asked you to stand on that wall. We've asked you to stand on that street. Please do it with integrity, honor, and courage. This profession chose you. You may think you chose it, but by the end of this academy, we are certain the profession chose you. As I said, myself and my colleagues would be honored and privileged to serve with any one of you. Many people want to be law enforcement officers, but only a selected few make it. And you have done it. Thank you. And I part with this. Please be safe. You always have a home at Lackawanna College Police Academy. We will call upon you to serve with us also. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. We appreciate all of the effort you've put in to be here. Officer Holmza, for the final time, please take command of Class 242. Thank you and have a good evening.
I'm the treasurer.
Oh, that's it. Wait a minute. I don't know if you know how to say.
No, I do. I think we have the same conversation.
Then I'll continue to have.
No, 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 no. No, I do. I know. Yeah, I know.
You know what? You love to golf and you love to ski, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I do both. Not very well. I ski very well, but I don't golf. No, I 2 years ago.